welcome back to another Super Tuesday recap. Man, this is like 2 in a week. What the fuck are we doing? It's two Super Tuesdays in a week, and it's the off season. What's wrong with us, man?
Us, like I have anything, I have any control here.
Oh, do not do that. You're not gonna put all of this on me, Mister.
Do what?
Oh my! I at this point, I asked you if, hey, do you want to do this? And matter of fact, you've been talking about doing this one, talking about Batman and the Button for a couple weeks. This is on you.
That's different.
That's different. Okay.
You're bringing the Watchmen characters in DC universe. This is.
I mean, I'm not saying.
You know what? It's the same way. It's the same way we did Black Panther. At a certain point, they forced our hand.
So you know what? I got it now. It's not blame Dpalm. It's not blame Kriss. It's blame Marvel. It's blame DC. There we go.
You keep giving me greatness. I'm gonna keep talking about it. Is that so wrong?
Valid point there, sir. Anyway, it is your host, Kriss and Dpalm here, and we're here again. There's no TV show to talk about, but we are here to talk comics with you. And we're here to talk some DC Rebirth stuff, and we're gonna obviously get into the little two-part the mini series that DC did with Flash and Batman with the Button. But before we get into that, because leading up to the Button, I wanted to catch all the way up. I want to go back, and I gotta do this with Dpalm because I know we've talked Batman before and Scott Snyder's run and how great how great that is, and it's wonderful, dude. Tom King is writing the fuck out of Batman.
Look, see, I didn't want to say it because you know what? I'm with you. Like the Scott Snyder thing, and it's a different thing than what Tom King's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Scott Snyder's story was we got 50 issues. What are the best stories we want to tell?
Right.
But still, peel away the onion that is Batman. Tom King's doing a straight up character study.
It is.
He's abandoned any pretense of this being a superhero comic book.
It is phenomenal.
It's bat therapy. I'm gonna let you kind of guide because I don't know how much we want to go into the minutia of it.
Oh, Nick, that's fine.
When you step back and look at this run, even so far, it opens with him accepting his death.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that. We talked about the beginning of this Tom King run.
I Am Gotham.
Yeah, with I Am Gotham, which I love the fact that we got the I Am Gotham. Then you have the I Am Suicide. I am Bane. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah. So I kind of stopped reading it when we got to the Monster Men little crossover they did, and again, not Tom King's fault. This goes back to my whole little mini rant about the events people really don't like. The events you really don't like are things like that, where you're literally reading an issue of Batman, and then it ends on a cliffhanger, and it tells you, go read Nightwing. Now, doesn't mean that Nightwing is bad, but if I'm not subscribed to Nightwing, and then I go back to Batman, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll skip that issue, the next issue of Batman has nothing to do with what just happened in finishing that story. And that is infuriating.
I know what you're saying, and I know you're saying an argument. Me, myself, I'm here for it.
No. Hey, look. I'm fine with that. I'm not even trying. Okay.
I really enjoy, and I'm anyone's ever listens. I'm an old school Marvel kid. I'm a Stan and Jack, 70s, 60s, 80s, Chris Claremont X-Men guy. That's me. I love an interconnected universe. I love the feeling because it gives you momentum. Because first of all, when you do it like that, you're able to pace it out differently because you're not waiting a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives the story momentum. It gives, particularly the ones they've done in the Rebirth era, these crossovers. So you can say, you don't love them because you got to chase certain things down. I understand it and respect that. They aren't using them lightly. Every time I've gone into one, something's changed the character. Have you read the Lazarus contract?
No, but I want to.
Titans Deathstroke one?
No, I got to catch up with that.
I just finished it, and I can't believe the change. They make a huge change to a major character in one of these throwaway crossovers.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're bad. Even when I was reading Monster Men, it was good, but I only throw it out there, and I didn't want to get a deep discussion on it. I just want to throw it out there because when people say they hate events, this is what you're talking about. All right?
Yeah, you're right.
Secret Empire, whatever event DC does that actually have they have some tie-in comics, but they have a main, a main book. That sucks. We're gonna do our character corner on Peter Parker soon, and thank God we're only up to the first, the original Clone Saga. I made the mistake when I was going through and getting some books. I was like, let me make sure I got all the issues for Clone Saga right, and it showed me the second one. Nigga, listen, I don't want to hear anybody complain about events because that monstrosity, my God.
See? And you're talking to the one American who still loves the Clone Saga.
Listen, I'm not even saying the story.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's true.
And I'm just saying, like,
I'm sorry,
dude. I started downloading. I was like, wait, it was like 4 gigs. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way it's all this. What the fuck? And I realized, but the second I was like, oh, that's why. What the fuck, man? It's 4 gigs. It was like, it's so many, and it's like over like 4 different Spider-Man type. Like, oh, when we get into Peter Parker, you'll hear more about this rant. But like, that's what you hate, all right, folks. Your whole I don't like events because Secret Civil War 2 or Secret Empire came out. That's bullshit. That's not an event. I'm sorry, I'm nerd checking people here, but you're not event fatigued until you go through some shit like that. All right? When that happens, then we can talk. Until then, suck it up. All right?
When they're bad, they're really bad.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. When they're good, they're the Clone Saga. Look, I recognize. We're not doing this now.
Wait, did you
talk about Kurt?
Yeah, right. Did you say
I'll have you yell at me about the Clone Saga.
And you know what? And we don't have to do that now because that's going to be like part 2, I think. So
it's not even.
Yeah, we got some time to have that argument. Right. I'm gonna need a month just to get through that.
It's an argument. I know I'm wrong. I acknowledge that I'm wrong.
Anyway, back to Batman. So I mean, you can actually kind of skip over Monster, and it's not bad again, but you can skip over.
It's not bad, but you're right. It's definitely skippable. I like some of the character stuff that with spoiler that plays out in Detective.
Right.
I'm a huge Nightwing fan, so I love just seeing him work with the family again. But you're right. It's eminently skippable when you compare it to the rest of Tom King's run.
Yeah, and here's the thing too: if it's a Bat book and it has a crossover, I'm more likely to read them because they're usually good anyway. Because I don't know, it's just. And again, when you get into more of the Tom King's run of Batman, so to break it down, what happens is at the end of Monster Men, Claire, Gotham Girl, has been basically has had her mind completely destroyed. And in order to fix her, Batman needs Psycho Pirate, who Bane traded Venom to Hugo Strange to get. And Bane is basically using Psycho Pirate as his new form of Venom. His way of kind of, keeping him in control, I guess. And helping him with his
rage. It's pacifying. He's Birdie to Bane's Sabretooth.
Yeah. There you go. And
I love how I just by using 2 more obscure characters. Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, no, that's hey. We just talked about them, so it's okay. They should know.
That's true. That's true.
If you're listening to Character Corners, you should know that. You should know that. Get the reference. So you get this I Am Suicide run first, and it's basically Batman putting together, this team to of criminals to help him, his own little Suicide Squad, to break into what's the
Santa
Prisca and get Psycho Pirate from Bane, and it is such a just because there's like the way Tom King writes is like you said it's literally like he's putting Batman on a couch and just
which is weird because that's almost what Scott Snyder did. If you look back, he used Gotham and the events of the book as a reflection of Batman's psyche. We're delving into a lot of first-person narrative.
Yeah, like
a lot, and like there's a revelation. And I'm gonna, if you haven't read the books,
they've been out for a while. I'm
gonna spoil some stuff. You learn that the decision to become Batman for the first time in the history of Batman, it wasn't the the grasp of a child searching for justice. It was a suicidal decision. It was, this crime's going to kill me, but I'm going to fight as long as I can, but I know it's going to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Each time he put the cowl on, it's a decision to kill himself. And it's a read on Batman I'd never read before. And while Scott Snyder kind of elevated Bat, like, he wrote him in the very first issue of Snyder's Run, he literally beats up the entire Rogues Gallery. It's Bat God examined. This is Batman examined. And it's, there have been parts that I'm like uneasy reading.
Listen, so this is one point there. So that's what it is. The ears, the belt, the gargoyle. It's not funny. It's a choice of a boy, the choice to die. I am Batman. I am suicide. And you can't, you see, because there's this part where they're, you have these letters between Selina and Bruce, and then Bruce to Selina. And so this is the one where Bruce is writing back to Selina. And you, Cat, you know, because if you've made that choice, you see it in another, and you see it in me, and I see it in you. So you're right when we kiss, the pain goes away because for that moment we share our deaths, and for that moment we don't die alone. You say you killed 237 people. You say you did it out of vengeance for the orphanage. You say you did it out of mercy for the next orphanage. And I say you're a fraud. I say you're me. You're like me. You're dead. And the dead know that death is a choice, and they don't take that choice from anyone. I locked you up because I had to, because you told a lie and I couldn't find out the truth. But I need you to know, as you become problematic, violent, someday soon, I'm going to free you because I have to. Because you told a lie and I took a vow, and I will always find the truth. Like, dude, like these little, like, I'm like, nigga, listen. It is like the letters back and forth between Bruce and Selina. There's a whole thing with, like, by now you probably have heard the spoiler, which I hate that they're doing this.
I hate comic book websites. I hate every one of them. Every one of them.
I hate them. There's a spoiler. And it's literally it's literally the last page of that book, which made me so mad because I was hoping that maybe it was the beginning of the book and that they weren't spoiling the end. They literally spoil the end of the book, which fuck you as a comic book site for doing that. And they did it not after the book came out. They did it the day before it came out. You spoiled the book. Fuck you. Anyway, not going to say what the spoiler is, but that spoiler, it caught a lot of people off guard. That's why I knew people weren't reading. Because when you read, I'm like, that actually makes perfect fucking sense.
Especially when we talk about what happened in the button.
Yeah, it is incredible. Like there's just so much stuff here, and these little letters and stuff like that. And by the way, who's drawing this?
I actually don't know.
Because like just some of these panels, like there's a panel of here that has Batman going through like this swarm of Bane's men, and it's drawing, and it had the letter written over top as he's doing this. It's like it's just everything is just done so really well done there, and
it's David Finch.
Okay, and it's just
I knew it was someone I recognized, yeah,
and it matches really well with what Tom King is doing here. And so you end this with Batman getting Psycho Pirate from Bane, and Bane basically demanding to have Venom back because Catwoman. It's a lot of stuff in there, but Catwoman kind of betrays Bane, and it's all part of Batman's plan.
It's all part of Batman's plan.
And by the way, there is like even just the I Am Suicide run where Batman shows up and Bane puts him into the same cage in the same prison that he grew up in, and again it goes back over telling you kind of Bane's origin and how he had to survive in these conditions. And again, if you go back to our Rogue Gallery, you'll hear us talk a lot about that and how that went about. But it's just really well done. You spent a couple issues I thought were also really good. They're going to a rooftop. And it's more of Batman and Catwoman. But again, pretty well done, and it gives you just...
not pretty well done. They get to pay off a Kite Man joke that's been set up for like 2 years.
Oh, dude. Like, here's the thing.
Fucking Kite Man.
So I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit to, I think it's... The the one with Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Nigga, I was dying then. Like, it ends kind of heavy, but I'm dying the entire, like, Kite Man's got it.
He's been setting up this joke for 2 years.
Dog. like, I'm like, you know what? Kite Man's got to beat somebody important later on because he's always popping up as this guy. You're like, who the fuck is Kite Man? Why is he? The fuck is this? Like, oh man, so good.
It's an old obscure bat villain. I think he originated on the '66 show. But like the fact that you're right, he makes you think like this is gonna matter. This is gonna matter. No, they're just telling a really long joke.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, it's just it's done so well. So then you kind of get into the last bit of this, and it's I Am Bane, and it's basically Bane's now coming and gunning for Batman because Batman took his relief away. He took Psycho Pirate, and Bane's like, "Yo, I was done. I was out. Why didn't you leave me alone? So now I have to come for you, and it's not gonna go well." And there's so much in here that is just.
In his defense, Bane warned him.
No, he did. No, Bane told him. He told him, "I don't want to do this. You're making me do this." It's basically what happens is in order to cure Claire, Batman said, I think he just needs 4 days, and it's going to be 4 days. 4 days of treatment with Psycho Pirate will cure her, and that's how long he's got to hold Bane at bay, and yeah. So you basically get, I want to say, the first one. I'm trying to find the issue. So that's the one I'm looking for. So issue 18 does a really good job of, you have this back and forth, like juxtaposition of Bane's origin and Batman's origin, and you see how similar they are, and that's when I was like I was already on the Tom King, bandwagon before anyway. But nigga, this shit was masterful, yo.
Yo, it's so good because, and I love the fact that Chuck Dixon and Chuck Austin are putting out a Bane maxi series right now because they created the character and they're getting to revisit the roots, and I'm really glad they get to redefine him. Y'all about a year too late. Tom King came and did with Bane what I thought you could never do, is establish him truly as the opposite of Batman. He did it in one issue.
Yeah, I mean, you literally have, like, it'll be one page, and you get split down the middle, and you have one with Bane looking at his parents. You have Batman, young Bruce looking at both his parents died, and you have Jim Gordon say, "Come with me, son." You got Bane looking at his mother dead in this prison cell with an image saying, "Come on, kid." You have one, and you see how what both of them were telling them to do. Bruce basically gets people there to support him and back him, and Bane doesn't, and it's just, oh man, it's so good. It's so good. You have both of them as young kids dealing with the loss of their mother. You have Bruce as a kid saying, to nobody there, "Mother, will you leave the light on?" "I'm sorry, Mother, will you please leave the light on?" You have Bane sitting in his cell, that floods every night. Mommy, come back." Bruce, "Mother, it'll only be tonight. I just need a light for just for tonight." Bane, "Mommy, I need you. Mommy, I'm scared." It's just, you see them both growing and you see them both training. Yeah, it's just so good, man. The way he does this, them both, and then they both come to a conclusion as they get older and older. So Bruce is, "I swear that by the spirit of my parents to avenge their deaths by spending the rest of my life warring on all criminals." Bane, "I swear in the blood of my parents to avenge their deaths by spending the rest of my life conquering all criminals." You have Batman looking at the rest of the Bat family going, all of you are my true strengths." Bane, going to a doctor, getting venom but it will give. But if I give you more, it can kill you, Doctor. Do you really think I fear death? It's just, yeah, dude. It's just, and so it ends. The issue ends, and it's day 4. You know, day 4, and one more day. He needs 5 days. Sorry. So day 4 ends. Batman sets up, and Bane shows up at Arkham, and that's where Batman's keeping obviously Claire and Psycho Pirate. So you get the last 2 issues, and issue 19 has basically starts at 12 a.m. and again, Batman needs the 12 hours. He needs actually 24 hours. He needs to keep Bane at bay, and so basically what he's done is he's released all of his foes, and so basically sets up a gauntlet for Bane to go through, and it's some of my favorite things in this. Like my favorite one, my first favorite one is when he goes when he shows up as Two-Face, and Two-Face is basically the character that lets you know what happened. He's like, listen, hey, I got an interesting decision to make. I got 2 possibilities. Batman said he'll release us. He'll improve our conditions here if I help him. What are you offering? He looks at Bane. He's like, what are you offering? And Bane just stops and looks at him, beats the shit out of him, and goes, pain. I offer pain. Dude, it is an incredible. Like, you just watch Bane literally go through every single one of these. He just
walks through the rogues gallery.
He walks through them. It's like, I am torment, I am ruin, I am plague, I am venom, I am Bane. Like, he just goes through these people, just tearing them apart, and every time he's basically ending with "I am Bane," and then you get to in the end of the issue is basically after him going through everybody, and it's time for round 2, going up against Batman. That's when you go through. You have a really nice in issue 20. You have this really nice breakdown of Batman with Tom King breaking down basically why Batman is fighting so hard to save Gotham Girl, which I thought was just, incredible, it's, you also get this, and this really pays into the button too. You get more play on his mother and him doing these things for his mother, which plays in when we get into the button with his father. But you also get the best, I am Batman moment, because this entire time Bane's been going through all these people going, I am Bane, and Bane's just beating the shit out of Batman. He's like, do you finally know me? Do you finally know who I am? I am Bane. And Batman just has literally been bleeding over the place. He's fucking done. He goes, yeah, I know. You're Bane. But you, I think you forgot. I'm Batman, and just headbutts the fuck out of Batman and Bane.
It's amazing.
And that's it. Like, he takes Bane out with a headbutt. Like, it is an incredible panel and moment, man. And again, when you get the words and what's going on in his head and the idea of his mother and things like that, it's like it's all of it is just, man, so good, so well done. And like I said, the thing I like about reading Batman books more than any other book is they really are character studies. Whether it's his villains, whether it's him. Like I said, there was this time when I think a lot of people used to say Batman's not really interesting. It's his villains that are. No. I mean, they found ways.
Well, it's true, but what people realize now is some of this new crop of writers is that each villain is even more like, you can play it more explicitly, a reflection of a facet of Bruce Wayne.
Exactly. You can
a perverted reflection. Two-Face's duality. Penguin is the rich family. Joker is literally chaos to his order. Like, it's always twisted. And this Bane one it's reestablished Bane in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like the determination and the will to go on. Like, it is just like in this entire run from I Am Suicide to I Am Bane, Bane and Batman literally are unstoppable forces.
Yep.
They're literally trains heading towards each other to collide. Like, it opens up with that. Like, at one point, and it's something we forgot to mention in I Am Suicide, Batman literally shows up and lets himself get captured and broken by Bane again and thrown in a cell. Then literally pops his spine back in. Like, it is, like, they're just unstoppable, you know, and the way that it's written is just, it makes you, like, I went back and read it again today. The first time I read it, I was like, damn, I've been waiting too long on these. Like, I have to let these build up. And I went back and read it again to take screenshots, and I just found myself reading it over and over again. It's just great.
It's perfect.
Right.
It's really well done.
And then we get to the button. So, I'll let you take over for that one.
So, for those of you who are coming in late, Rebirth was kind of kicked off with a special where they brought back Wally West. And in one of the vignettes, you see Batman find the comedian's button from Watchmen. Everyone knows the telltale smiley face button with the human prune juice, as Rorschach would call it. So it's been sitting on the proverbial shelf for the story since the series launched. Batman, as we covered, has taken down Bane, has released Psycho Pirate. But what people, should remember is that when the original Crisis happened, one of the three characters who remembered the previous universe was the Psycho Pirate. Mm-hmm. They never cover why. Psycho Pirate's mask is next to the button, and that's where things get weird. You also got like an overarching story that they've been telling with the Legion of Superheroes, which I think is a really good tie-in here, but kind of bookending the story. But when the button interacts with Pirate's mask, he gets a glimpse of that Flashpoint universe that every casual DC fan loves and that I absolutely loathe. Oh, man.
Wait. When you say people like it, are like they want to go?
People are like, "Yo, Flashpoint's the shit." I'm like, I hate every one of you.
Wait, like so. All right, so I think the world,
or like the animated movie, Chris, the animated movie is the bane of my existence, just because so many people like it.
Really? So I like the animated movie. I like it.
So do I, but it reminds me that you could have told a much better, cleaner, tighter story in the book.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Because like the books, like the movie is so much cleaner and straightforward than the books are. The books are such a wasted opportunity because one, they made each of them way too many miniseries. First of all, too many spin out books. Way too many. Second, and only a handful of them are good. Second, like even like the Thomas Wayne Batman one, it's only 3 issues, so it's not enough to actually tell a fucking story. So
you know what they should have done if they wanted to be brave? Cancel every book and just run 3 issues of Flashpoint for 3 months.
Oh, you mean basically Age of Apocalypse? It
sales would have gone through the roof.
Yeah, probably
DC's previews for next month is just one book. What's going to happen? What are you guys talking about? Yeah, everyone would have read that.
I don't see. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that the world is interesting. I think that the actual books are such a... Because I went and read them. Because after the movie came out, I was like, oh, fuck it, let me read this shit. I was like, this is such a wasted opportunity here.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, wasn't it? Ugh. Anyway, so... you were saying.
But yeah, so the button interacts with the mask. He sees a glimpse of Thomas Wayne, Flashpoint Batman. And he calls the other detective in the league, Barry Allen, CSI.
Which, by the way, I love the fact that he played on that this little thing, because I never thought about it until they mentioned it.
John's established it in Blackest Night,
mm-hmm.
where he said that Hal was always my best friend because I recognized that he was a cop too. But Bruce and I had always had this in common: we were detectives.
Yeah, like, and it hit me. I was like, oh shit, because it's one of those things where there's a moment in here where both Bruce and Barry literally go into basically like thinking like detectives, and it's just like, I'm like, why didn't I think about this before? Why didn't we play on this more often? And then it immediately, you know what it immediately made me think of? How much I'm going to hate the Bruce and Barry interactions in Justice League.
So much. And so, like I said, he calls Barry, asks for help. Barry says he'll be there in a minute. And it's at this point that I became aware of what had just happened in the 3 previous pages. The 9-panel grid.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a comic book fan, if you've ever read a comic book, you know Watchmen was famous for Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons using the 9-panel grid. And you realize that, and by the way, someone who is currently working in that medium, it's very annoying. And at the bottom, once Barry says, "I'll be there in a minute," the clock starts at the bottom right of the page.
Which is never.
And it counts down.
Which is never a good sign.
He hears the noise. You said a minute of all people. Flash didn't expect you to be early. Flash, no, quite the reverse actually. Thawne versus Batman in the Batcave for 1 minute. And when I tell you that Thawne rips apart Batman, it beats the shit out of him. It's just, and it's something that reminded me of one of Wally's runs during Rogue War. He describes Thawne as a sociopath as fast as any of us.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't enough to kill us; he wanted to torture us, and that's what he does here. He could have killed Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's obviously got plot armor, and he can't really actually hurt or kill Batman. But yeah, he takes a minute and beats the hell out of Batman. And it's done in the 9-panel grid, and it's got great momentum in the storytelling. The clock adds. Did you think the clock was distracting, or did it add to it for you?
No, I loved it because it made it makes you realize just how fucking fast and how, because again, it's a minute, and you're dealing with speedsters, and so the reason why I like the clock ticking down, and again, I can definitely see how it couldn't always work, and you don't want to always do this. But I mean, adding the fact that literally, Barry is literally across somewhere else doing something, fighting these people, and you're like, okay, I'll be there in a minute, and you're like, oh, okay, it's a minute, it's not gonna. And you see, like, I almost wish there was some way of doing this, like on the TV show, so you can see just how long that is. Like, why couldn't it? Oh, okay, that's what's going on there. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. Maybe they didn't need to
I loved in the middle of it when you see 41 seconds 3 times. Yeah, he's running across the Batcave.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I love. So that's the thing I was gonna say. I was like, maybe they just have to put it in every single panel, but I love that particular panel where you sit there and you see it, and it's 41 seconds or 3 panels. You're like, oh, this is not gonna end well. He destroys the letter.
That's the other thing. You get the revelation that Thawne remembers not just Flashpoint, but prior to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a Wally West in that he recalls the world that was before.
Right.
This is another, in part of the large meta story that DC's telling, and I'm pretty engrossed in. This is an important note. He tears up the note from Thomas Wayne because Thawne's a dick. And, Batman gets his licks in.
Yeah.
It's portrayed very well. Batman loses, obviously. Thawne grabs the button, vanishes in a very Dr. Manhattan-esque flourish, and reappears burned half to death.
Yep.
Says, I saw God. And then the last panel in the last 9-panel grid. Hey, Bruce, sorry, stopped at the Blades game to see if I could save Taylor, but I guess he died in the action in the last blow. I was just too late. And you walk in, and Barry, it's a big splash page, but it's Barry sitting over the beaten to hell body of Batman and the half-burned corpse of his worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great day to the officer Batman, not going to
lie. No. He's seen better days.
Yeah, man.
Seen better days. So, yep. And so then you get this, and then you switch over to Flash. And again, because I don't know, I felt better about this crossover than I did the Monster Man one. I guess maybe because I was just prepared for it more.
Right? No, that's 100% fair.
And what I love is you get it started with, well, not really the start of it, but when you're in the Batcave with Barry, again, it goes back to what we were saying about, Barry trying to work the scene and figure out retrace what happened, and go through everything.
Of course he set up a crime scene.
Yeah. Set up a crime scene in the Batcave, you know, and work through these things. And it's just, again, it goes there. You have this conversation with when he has a conversation with Bruce. The day I joined the league, the Justice League, was the first time in my life I felt like I had real friends I could relate to. But whenever I taught forensics, I could see in their eyes that I might as well have been speaking another language, except for Bruce. We could talk about evidence for hours. Even now, after being almost killed by Thawne, he still wants to talk shop. Again, it's just, I'm like, that makes so much fucking sense. Of course. Of course they're CSI. Of course they're both CSI nerds. Fuck. So, yeah.
I really like how both sets of writers captured the characters really well. Mm-hmm. It speaks to how consistent Rebirth has been in some of the characterizations. I haven't loved a lot of the Barry 7 reading in Justice League, but as far as his book and these other appearances, it's been really strong. They even harken back to seeing Jay Garrick's helmet in the Speed Force.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get my favorite page of the entire thing. The Hall of Lost and Found. Where this new reshuffled DC reality, because we've established, if you haven't followed along, so at some point, post New 52, something else changed reality. We've seen the two Supermen they've collided in Action Comics and made them one pass, one Superman, so that Grant Morrison, like, wearing a t-shirt phase never happened. Very strange stuff. But it's basically them trying to clean up their continuity on the fly again, because, of course, But when you get to the room, with all the things that we thought we'd lost, we got Martian Manhunter's old uniform, the Imperix armor, there's skeets, there's a Blue Beetle's bug, like there's a world, I forget how to pronounce it. It's the Dusa Mike from Grant Morrison's run with that Hour Man. Like it's Justice League, man. It's the history. It's all there. Mm-hmm. And as they're still redefining their past and redefining what this new timeline's going to be, all that gave this little nerd a little hope. And you get Barry on the treadmill.
Yeah. The cosmic treadmill. And of course Bruce shows up. Of course he does. I just noticed the Star Rose behind Batman when he shows up. You say you just noticed what?
Book. The Star Rose?
Oh, yeah.
Behind Batman, I hadn't noticed him before now. But yeah, they decide they're going to try to run through the time stream and figure out what happened. But they don't go, the treadmill doesn't work the way it usually does. You start seeing flashes of what we thought erased continuity. Chris, what are we doing here? What's DC's plan?
You know the great thing about it is, I don't know.
Right? Because their history has told us that they openly run from their own past.
Exactly.
And these aren't like Easter eggs that slipped in. These are major plot points that are referenced by the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all very confusing, very unclear. But the bottom line is, this trip on the treadmill ends them back somehow in the Flashpoint universe.
Mm-hmm.
In Thomas Wayne's Batcave.
Because they established basically that Flashpoint didn't end when Barry went back and fixed the timeline. It still somehow went on. You know, somehow Wonder Woman something preserved it. Wonder Woman and Aquaman decided they found somebody else. Instead of going after each other, they found somebody else to go after, and it was Thomas Wayne. And so they literally show up in Thomas Wayne's Batcave when he's about to be overrun by Amazons, and you find it still exists. And again, the great thing I see about this whole entire thing is I don't know what they're gonna do. I have no idea. But you get this moment with Bruce coming across his father. His father as Flashpoint's Batman, and Bruce as Batman in his universe. And yeah.
It's a great little moment. It gives Bruce some closure on that letter that Thawne tore because he's a dick. But you also get a speech that I think is going to resonate with Batman, and we've seen it already, and with Flash, at the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I delivered you myself, and the moment I saw you, I knew every choice I'd ever made had been the right ones because I led to you. You are the greatest gift my life has ever given me, and there's more I should have shared in that letter, so listen to me. Don't be Batman. Find happiness, please. You don't have to do this. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for your mother. Be a father for your son in a way that I can never be for you. Let the Batman die with me.
And the great thing about that, if you remember going back to what happened in I Am Bane, his whole thing was, I'm doing this for you, mother. I can do this. I can do this to avenge my parents. Here's Bruce having his father telling him, you don't have to do this. Live your life.
Right.
And when you finally catch up, because then the last part of the button ends up in Flash, but when you go back and you're reading Batman, the decision that he makes in that last Batman issue kind of ties to it's a conversation he's having with Gotham Girl, but it's also kind of going with his whole thing of, what his father told him, live your life.
It's cool because, like you said, like these little crossovers, but they made it matter. They made it count because that moment with his father isn't being swept under the rug, isn't being kind of, that was a crossover. Now on to your next Bat venture. No, it resonated with Bruce, and it's going to, I think, inform the character going forward.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you get to the end of the button where we find that Bruce and Barry are now chasing Thawne because time travel's crazy towards whatever eventually killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's clearly the Doctor, right?
Yeah, I think it has to be, right? Has to be.
Yeah. And when they watch Thawne die, they are plucked from the resulting time storm and Speed Force storm by a very familiar figure, Jay Garrick, who gets narration, who gets the 10 hat, who gets the hero moment of pulling them out, saving them. My name is Jay Garrick. I'm your friend, a Flash. Barry, listen to me. You need to remember. If you remember me, like Wally, he told me I forget things. People, someone did this to you. Do you know? They took everything from me, Barry. I don't know how. I don't know why. Barry, you have to. What's your name? What's your name? And then he vanishes because, like Wally's tether was Barry that he remembered, Jay's tether isn't Barry.
Who do you think Jay's tether is?
I think the fact that they've shown us, we saw Johnny Thunderbolt at the beginning of, I think it was the second part.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is building to a big JSA return, and I'd like to announce that officially I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, because wait, so the JSA doesn't have they don't have a JSA book going on right now, do they?
They've erased. So New 52, one of the big things was that the current books were 5 years of the emergence of the first superhuman.
So there's no, there's no. It had to erase the JSA.
I think the meta story they're telling is that this Dr. Manhattan / the darkness of the 80s and the post-Watchmen comics robbed us of the joy, robbed us of love, robbed us of, in Wally's words from the Rebirth special, I think it was 10 years of their history.
Mm-hmm.
And it's which 10 years were taken and why. And in some point in those 10 years, they got rid of Wally West and they got rid of the JSA. But it looks like time wants to correct itself. And I think that it's been announced. Jeff Johns is writing a miniseries with Superman.
Doomsday Clock.
Called Doomsday Clock.
Oh, yeah.
So, and apparently it's going to be fairly self-contained. Believe it when I see it. But it's going to answer these questions and address these questions as to what our history of the DC Universe is. Because now we're going to get those big 80s or 70s coffee table books again, the Who's Who DC Universe, and I'm going to buy them because I have no self-control.
Well, the epilogue, remember the epilogue, so right before the epilogue, you have what looks like Dr. Manhattan picking up the button with, the Watchmen button with the blood on it. But in the epilogue, you have the nine panel page again, and the button kind of like fall into space, and you click over, and it, next page, it basically has,
they announced it with this, okay.
Yeah, they had the Superman's shield there. Yeah, so it's like Doomsday Clock is Jeff Johns, and November. And I say November is way too long to wait.
What you waiting for?
Right, you had me at Jeff Johns. I'm gonna
you got the momentum. Let's strike.
Right, when Jeff Johns has been doing a great job with this stuff, and I think that unlike what happened with Blackest Night, where it just kind of spun out of control a little bit, and I think you had him doing so much stuff. I think he has time to do this. And
I agree.
And with everybody else, go ahead. I'm gonna say with everybody else doing a good job on Rebirth, like it gives him time to focus on. Dude, I think this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a fucking masterpiece. It's gonna piss some people off, but it's gonna be a fucking masterpiece, and I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I will say this: there was a lot of bravery in them letting run that last 9-panel grid with Batman in a Flash book.
Yeah.
That was an editorial. I don't know if that was a fight or if things were so good at DC that they were like, we'd love to put that in the Flash book, but that was a very something 9-panel grid.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because that also goes into what we were saying about how you think that what Thomas Wayne said that Bruce is going to affect. What that basically those last 9 panels were basically Bruce sitting there in the mansion. He's hearing his father's voice. Don't be Batman. Find happiness. You don't have to do this for me. Do it for don't do it for your mother. Let the Batman die with me. And while in the second half of those panels, the bat signal goes off into Gotham, and then finally Alfred comes over and says to Batman, he says to Bruce, "Sir, are you going to answer that?" And Bruce just stands there,
puts his head down,
like. Mm-hmm.
And then you get creepy ass John Osterman. Why does my perception of time distress you? Everything is pure and even my responses. We're all puppets, Laurie. I'm just a puppet who can see the strings. Let's go, November.
And I think John even said, he did an interview with Tom about Doomsday Clock. He was like, basically the reason why the button happens is you basically take Batman off the board. It's a chess game. You put that seed of doubt into Batman into whether he really wants to be Batman. That's one last thing you have to worry about. I can't wait. I'm in.
It's got me reading Superman books.
I actually know what that's what I got to do next. I got to catch up on the Superman books because
there's a lot of stuff in there that's you can tell it's headed that direction.
Exactly, and
you got to remember, Tim Drake got snatched at the end of that arc of Detective.
Exactly,
someone's stockpiling people to fight Manhattan, and I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm here for it. Thank you, DC, for getting creative.
Yeah, everybody thinks Tim is dead, but Tim isn't dead. Tim is basically been. Huh?
In one of the books, I forget which one it was, you see Tim break out of his cell.
Oh, shit.
But he immediately gets caught and comes back in. But you see a look of shock. He says, "You," and gets thrown back in his cell. They're doing a really good job of teasing this.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I gotta catch up on all this stuff, man. It's been good, man. So, yeah, check out read the Batman books. Even the Flash book. The Flash book is good, too. I've been really enjoying the Flash book and what's going on with that.
And because time travel is awesome, they're dealing with Thawne there right now. Too.
Of course. Because why the fuck not? Because, like you said, time travel. So, when they revealed who was behind, I can't remember what the name of the thing is, and it was like Mina. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. She's god damn it, this is gonna be bad. I can't wait. I'm loving reading this stuff. So, all right, guys, Super Tuesday recap. There you got it. I did not read the latest issue of Secret Empire, but we will. We'll do that soon, and we'll come back. We'll come back when we finish the series. So we're halfway through it. When they finish the series, we'll come back and we'll do a Super Tuesday on that. We'll finish that up, and we'll be reading some more comics. I got a lot to catch up on. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I know people's books are getting canceled, and you guys know what I told you. Fucking buy the books. You ain't got to worry about it. And hey, look, and sometimes you got to worry about it. Sometimes you got to worry about it. You got to deal with it because that's what happens. I mean, I know people are saying with the comic book industry, you got to change, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. They do. That don't stop you from fucking buying the book.
Yo, the game is the game. No, I got my last issue of Nova last week.
Like, come on.
We all have books we love to get canceled.
Look, you got fucking.
I'm salty about Nova.
While you're complaining about that they need to change the industry, your books are getting canceled. So. While you're waiting for the industry to change, which, by the way, can I just say the industry is changing? It is. It's just not going as quickly as you think it should be going. But you got to buy the books while you're waiting. It takes time. So, just saying. Anyway, again, Super Tuesday recap, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music. If you're hearing this, I don't know what's coming out first, this or the Character Corner. Probably this. Character Corner, going to be Peter Parker Part 1. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about that. I know there's a unanimous decision coming out again this weekend. Dpalm's going to record a solo show talking about, how about them Warriors?
The Ultimate Warriors.
Yeah, you know. I can't wait for the trolling they're going to do back. I can't wait. People I saw somebody complaining about, you know, it needs to be more than the Warriors and the Cavs. Like, no, I need this for at least 2 more seasons because I need the back and forth going back. Huh?
LeBron just threw up a triple-double in the finals, and the other team built a Hulkbuster to stop him, and he still threw up a triple-double.
Right. I'm sorry. I need this. I like seeing rivalries. I like seeing them back and forth, man. I'm sorry. I hate when, you know, we didn't, you know, because we didn't get to do, I didn't get to get on the show. I'm gonna say it right now. Listen, man, all you nostalgia motherfuckers need to shut the fuck up and deal with this shit. All right?
No, save it for NegroCon. Save it.
Oh my God,
Save it for NegroCon.
No,
Save it for NegroCon.
just make sure you ask me that, cause I'm getting mad.
I'll throw the alley.
You're gonna throw the alley? You're gonna shit, I might alley it to my.
I'm Kyrie on a fast break. You're streaking LeBron James. I got you.
Okay, if you don't, I'm gonna do a LeBron and alley it to myself and dunk on my own teammate. So I'm just saying, yo, yeah. Anyway, and also speaking of NegroCon, if you're coming to NegroCon, we are happy to see you. It's gonna be fun. We're looking to seeing you guys, and again, if you can't make it this one, we'll be back and we'll be doing it.
If you didn't make tickets after the show, it's exactly.
We'll be around drunk, so you'll find us, I guess.
Yes, we're gonna be drinking. I can't speak for anyone else. Me myself will be drinking.
And more and more I think about it now, I'm like, I'm supposed to have my camera equipment. I'm like, I'm gonna have to put my camera equipment up like an hour before we finish the show because I can't be walking around with expensive equipment drunk. So
my question is, and I don't know if this is gonna get up before NegroCon. I'm thinking about bringing the belt.
You've told me. I thought you were.
The belt becomes a liability. People start. But the belt becomes like we're not putting the belt after we're done with the show.
That's a valid point. You got to walk around with the belt the entire time.
See, I don't want.
You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy that walks around with the belt the entire time.
I don't want to be that guy at my home bar.
Yeah.
I can't be that guy at a stranger's bar.
Yeah. And you know what? There are pluses and minuses on both sides. We'll
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's gonna be a long night, so we'll figure something out. Again, folks, thank you guys very much for listening and supporting this show. We will be back, and until next time, we're out of here. Peace.